You have never been poor, not even for a single day. And that is exactly why you are about to lose everything. You are standing at your bedroom window. It is 6:15 in the morning. Below you, in the compound you own, a man is sweeping your driveway. He has been sweeping it every morning for 11 years. He sweeps slowly, carefully, the way a man sweeps when he has nowhere else to be and nothing better waiting for him. You watch him and feel nothing. That is the part you'll never admit out loud. Not pity, not gratitude, not guilt. Nothing. His name is Marcus. He is 43 years old. He lives in a small apartment 2 blocks from your property with his wife and 2 children. His monthly salary is $1,200. You have not increased it in 6 years because he has never asked and you have never thought to offer. Last Tuesday, you drove past him on the road and did not stop. It was raining. He was walking. You did not stop. This is you. Not the villain of someone else's story, the hero of your own. And in exactly 4 years, 3 months, and 17 days, Marcus will own this house. You will be the one sweeping the driveway. And the most devastating part? You will deserve every single stroke of that broom. Act 1. The world you built. Your name is Richard Caldwell. You are 52 years old. You inherited $4.2 million from your father at age 31, not because you earned it, not because you built anything, because you were born in the right house to the right man at the right time. That inheritance became $40 million through real estate. You bought properties in neighborhoods before they became valuable. You raised rents when the market allowed. You evicted tenants who fell behind. You bulldozed affordable housing and built luxury condominiums that working families could never afford. You call this business. Others call it something different. You don't care what others call it. Your portfolio currently holds 23 properties across 4 states. Your net worth is $47 million. You have a house in Connecticut, an apartment in Manhattan, and a vacation property in Florida that you visit 3 times a year. You drive a $180,000 car. You eat at restaurants where the cheapest item on the menu costs more than Marcus makes in a day. You have never once considered that the distance between your life and his is not intelligence, not character, not hard work. It is simply the accident of where you were born. And accidents, as you are about to discover, have a way of correcting themselves. Act 2. The way you treat people. You have a reputation. Not the kind that appears in newspapers, the kind that travels quietly between people who work for people like you. The kind that gets whispered in break rooms and parking lots and group chats you will never see. Richard Caldwell doesn't see people. He sees functions. Marcus is a function. He sweeps, he maintains, he fixes small things around the property. He is useful the way a tool is useful. You acknowledge him the way you acknowledge a tool. You don't. There was a morning 3 years ago when Marcus knocked on your door. His daughter needed emergency surgery. He asked for a $500 advance on a salary. Just $500. He would pay it back in installments. You told him you didn't run a bank. You closed the door. He borrowed the money from a neighbor. His daughter had the surgery. She recovered fully. You never knew any of this because you never asked. There was a Christmas 2 years ago when every other employer on the street gave their staff a bonus. You gave Marcus a card, a physical card with a printed message inside that said, "Thank you for your service." No envelope, just the card. He put it in his pocket and said thank you and went back to sweeping. His wife threw it away that night. There are 23 other stories exactly like these. Small moments of cruelty so casual they don't even register as cruelty to you. They register as nothing. They register as Tuesday. But Marcus remembers every single one. He has been remembering them for 11 years. And memory, in the hands of a patient man, is a very dangerous thing. Act 3. The crack. It begins with a lawsuit. A tenant in one of your Baltimore properties files a complaint. Uninhabitable conditions. Mold, broken heating, mice. The kind of conditions you have been aware of for 2 years and chosen to ignore because the cost of repairs would reduce your quarterly returns by 4%. You have ignored worse for less. But this tenant has a lawyer. A good one. The lawsuit becomes a class action within 60 days. 14 tenants across 3 of your properties join. The discovery process begins. Documents are subpoenaed. Emails are reviewed. Internal communications that you wrote assuming nobody would ever read them are now being read by a federal judge. One email in particular becomes a problem. It is from 4 years ago. Your property manager asked you to approve $12,000 in urgent repairs at the Baltimore property. The heating system was failing. Winter was coming. Families with children lived in the building. Your response was 4 words. Not worth it yet. Those 4 words cost you $2.3 million in the settlement. But the settlement is not the real damage. The real damage is the press coverage. Your name appears in 17 news articles in 30 days. Richard Caldwell, slumlord. Your photograph, taken from your company website where you are smiling in a tailored suit, appears next to photographs of the mold on the walls of your Baltimore properties. The contrast is devastating. 3 of your largest tenants in your commercial portfolio read the articles. 2 of them do not renew their leases. The 3rd calls you personally to express concern. You tell him the lawsuit was frivolous and the press coverage was biased. He does not renew either. In 90 days, you have lost $800,000 in annual rental income. The crack is small, but cracks don't stay small in structures that were never built to last. Act 4. The acceleration. The market turns against you. Not because of the lawsuit. The market doesn't care about lawsuits. The market turns because you made a decision 18 months ago that you were certain was genius. You leveraged 6 of your properties to purchase a $28 million commercial development in a neighborhood that every analyst told you was not ready. You ignored the analysts. You have always ignored the analysts. You have always been right before. You are not right this time. The development stalls. The anchor tenant pulls out 3 months before opening. Without the anchor tenant, the secondary tenants follow. The building sits empty. The loan payments are $180,000 per month. The building generates 0 income. Month 1, you cover it from reserves. Month 2, you cover it from the sale of your Florida property. Month 3, you cannot cover it. The bank begins foreclosure proceedings. The foreclosure on the commercial development triggers a review of your entire portfolio. Your debt-to-asset ratio has deteriorated significantly. The bank calls 3 additional loans. You hired the best restructuring attorney in New York. He tells you honestly that you are looking at losing between 60 and 80% of your portfolio, depending on how the next 6 months unfold. You sit in his office in your $180,000 suit and hear those words, 60 to 80%. And for the first time in your adult life, you feel something unfamiliar in your chest. It takes you a moment to identify it. It is fear. The specific fear of a man who has never had to be afraid before. The most disorienting fear that exists. Act 5. The humiliation. The Connecticut house goes first, then the Manhattan apartment. Then 12 of your 23 properties are sold in a distressed portfolio sale at 34 cents on the dollar. Your net worth goes from $47 million to $3.1 million in 14 months. $3.1 million sounds like wealth. It is not wealth when you have the lifestyle debt of a $47 million man. The car goes, the memberships go, the restaurants go, the tailor goes. You move into a 2-bedroom rental in a neighborhood you would never have previously acknowledged existed. On the first morning you wake up in that apartment, you lie in bed and stare at the ceiling and try to locate the version of yourself that felt nothing watching Marcus sweep the driveway. You cannot find him because that version of you required $47 million to maintain. Strip the money away, and what is left is just a man. A frightened, ordinary, unremarkable man, lying on a mattress that belongs to someone else, in a building he does not own, for the first time in his life. Act 6. Marcus. The other story you never saw. Here is what you did not see. While you were building your empire on inherited money and convenient cruelty, Marcus was building something too. Quietly, patiently, without anyone watching. He grew up poor. The kind of poor that teaches you things money can never buy. How to read a room, how to make something from nothing, how to wait, how to study people who have everything and learn exactly what not to do. He watched you for 11 years. He watched how you made decisions, which ones were smart, which ones were arrogant, which ones confused confidence for competence. He saved $300 every month from his $1,200 salary. Not because it was easy, because he had a plan, and the plan required capital, and $300 a month was what the plan required. After 3 years, he had $10,800. He took a night course in property management at a community college. $400 for the course, he paid it from his savings. He used the remaining $10,400 as a deposit on a small, distressed property in a neighborhood nobody was watching yet. He spent weekends renovating it himself. Every skill he had developed working for you, maintenance, repairs, property management, he applied to his own asset. He rented it out. Then he did it again, and again, and again. By the time your empire was cracking, he owned 4 properties outright. No leverage, no debt, no exposure. Just 4 clean assets generating $6,800 per month in rental income. While you were paying $180,000 per month on a loan for a building that generated nothing, the man you never stopped for in the rain was building in the same rain you drove through. The difference was he had no choice but to get wet, and getting wet taught him something staying dry never could. Act 7. The day the world flips. You need a place to live. The 2-bedroom rental is $2,100 per month. It is consuming your remaining capital faster than you projected. Your restructuring attorney tells you to find somewhere cheaper. You search listings. One property appears in your search. A clean, well-maintained house in a quiet neighborhood, $1,400 per month, within your revised budget. You call the number. A man answers. The voice is familiar. You can't place it immediately. You schedule a viewing. You drive to the address. You park outside, and you sit in your car for a very long time. Because the man standing at the front door of the property you want to rent is Marcus. He sees you. He doesn't smile, he doesn't frown, he just waits, the way he has always waited, with the patience of a man who knew this moment was coming long before you did. You get out of the car, you walk toward him, and you do something you have not done in 20 years. You extend his hand first. He looks at it. Then he shakes it. He shows you around the property. It is immaculate. Everything works. Everything is maintained, the way yours never were. At the end of the viewing, he asks if you have questions. You have one. You ask him how he did it. He looks at you for a long moment. Then he says something that will stay with you for the rest of your life. He says, "I just paid attention. You taught me everything I needed to know. I watched what you did, and I did the opposite." Act 8. The new arrangement. You signed a lease. Marcus is your landlord. The man whose salary you never raised. The man you drove past in the rain. The man whose daughter's surgery you refused to advance $500 for. The man you handed a card with no envelope at Christmas. That man now owns the roof over your head. You pay him $1,400 on the first of every month. He deposits it into the same account he has been building for 11 years. You live well in the house. It is smaller than anything you have owned before, but everything works. The heating works. The plumbing works. The roof does not leak. The things you never provided for the people who paid you, he provides them without being asked. On the third month, Marcus knocks on your door. He tells you the water heater needs replacing. He tells you he has already ordered the part. He tells you it will be fixed by Thursday. He asks if Thursday works for you. You say yes. He nods and turns to leave. You call after him. You apologize, not for one specific thing, for everything. It takes you 4 minutes to say it properly. He listens to all 4 minutes without interrupting. Then he says, I know. I've been waiting 11 years for that. Thursday for the water heater. He walks away, and you stand in the doorway of his house watching him leave the way he once watched you drive away in the rain. You still wake up at 6:15 in the morning sometimes. Old habit. You go to the window. The driveway below is clean. It is always clean. Marcus maintains his properties the way he maintains everything in his life, with quiet, consistent, unspectacular discipline. The same discipline you mistook for limitation when it belonged to someone who worked for you. You think about the $500 you refused him. You think about the card with no envelope. You think about the rain. Small moments, tiny decisions, the ones that seemed like nothing at the time. They were everything. Not because the universe keeps score, but because people do. And the people you overlook on the way up are the same people who will be standing at the door when you need somewhere to land on the way down. Marcus didn't win because life is fair. Life is not fair. Marcus won because he paid attention while you were too busy feeling powerful to notice anything at all. The driveway is clean. You didn't sweep it, but you understand now what it costs. The people you ignore on the way up will be waiting for you on the way down. They always are.